I was curious about this one here. This seemed like an interesting concept for a video. I never played the game. The JRPG that removed half its formula. This is a JRPG that, like, stripped out a lot of the core JRPG ideas. Bring us next. What Bring us video? What Bring us thing do you have? We'll do this one for now, and then Bring Us videos are long. Bring Us videos are quite long. Oh, the Bring Us and James video. Ah, okay.
You can't just remove half of the mechanics and still
Golden Sun. I need to get around to that one.
call it a JRPG. So how is Growlancer 2 not a complete disaster?
For a second, I thought this game would have been way older. Man, this is like... This art is a remnant of history. You did not see anything drawn like this. This art style basically died with the digital revolution.
The second entry in the ultimate drama JRPG series has me questioning a lot. I thought I knew what I liked after all these years, but now I'm not so sure. Nearly every great JRPG relies on the same core ideas and mechanics.
That's a video
Even the
game.
not so good ones, really. They don't have to have all of them, and there are
What was that?
core ideas and mechanics. Even the not so good ones, really. Every great JRPG relies on the same core ideas and mechanics. Even the not so good ones, really.
Are we talking about East 1 as one of the not so good ones? East 1 is... It's the start of the series. It's a bit of a rough game, though.
They don't have to have all of them, and there are exceptions, but some are clearly more important than others.
Sure.
Gotta have a party of characters. You gotta have combat in some fashion.
Sure.
You gotta have exploration, equipment, stats you level up, a story with
Well, unless your name's FF16.
full stakes. On paper, Growlancer 2, The Sense of Justice, should be a dumpster fire. If anyone tried to sell me on a JRPG like this, I'd laugh in their face and walk off.
Okay.
Like I just met the world's biggest fool. Don't be like me. Somehow, even after chopping off what feels like half of what makes a JRPG, it nails it. It's this ultra-condensed JRPG soup. It has enough beans, meat, and veggies to nourish and satisfy, and none of the filler, like the demon soap weed known as cilantro.
I see you also have the cilantro gene. I can't eat cilantro. It is yeah. It tastes like soap. This is a gene a gene that a lot of people, I don't know what the percentage of the population is, but it is a gene that a lot of people have where cilantro tastes like soap. Why it's like that, I don't know. There's probably some evolutionary benefit that does something else somewhere. Yeah. Have I watched the Avatar Airbender live action? Yeah, when I saw a video of it, I thought it was AI. It wasn't AI. It wasn't AI.
I don't know how cilantro made its way in here.
Who knows?
Like anytime it makes a surprise appearance in my food, it's not getting out of here without getting attacked. Hey, I'm Brandon, and
Hi.
I think I love Growlancer 2. And it's only partly because it has one of the greatest level up animations I've ever seen.
Okay.
You
That's
literally explode with confetti. Puts a smile on my face every time. When I made a video on my experience with the first Growlancer around 10 months ago? It's been 10 months? You serious? Time, man. When I made that video, I got at least one comment saying that the second game in the series is pretty different.
Okay.
So I knew to go into Growlancer 2 with the expectation that it would be its own thing. And they were spot on. Thankfully, this isn't one of those cases where the sequel feels like it was made by a completely different group of people or anything like that. That's always a massive bummer. Growlancer 2 is not just a sequel in number. It takes place relatively soon after where the first game ends.
Okay.
Same world, many shared characters, but all of that wandering around through the woods and in caves, punted into the sea. All those different weapon options, chucked into the wood chipper.
Okay.
But before I get into how it survived this self-mutilation, let's look at what hasn't changed. The writing
Wait,
and world building is
So there's no exploration and no gearing. What is there?
still top notch. It never lets up with the drama, and I still can't get enough of it. You play as Wayne Cruz, and your journey starts when you join the military. You're out to become an Imperial Knight, which is pretty much the best of the best. So you have a long way to go. You'll be assigned missions, and you'll travel between nations to investigate strange occurrences and return peace to areas impacted by war. But this is no simple story of good and evil. This is a story of nuance. Even the so-called bad guys' interests won't always align. This is a Growlancer game. While it has its more anime-style tropes, I always felt like it respected my intelligence. It never treated me as a kid who can't grasp or appreciate a complex, layered story. It's got politics, magic, mystery, friendship, romance, and of course, action. It's a fantastic ride. The combat remains largely unchanged. I never know what to call it to make it understandable. It's semi-real-time with pause. It's an RTS game that calls a lot of timeouts.
Okay.
Whatever we call it, it still has wait time at its core.
It's not a,
Use a basic attack, it fills your bar.
it's not like a tactic
you have to wait for it to go
game
down
per
to 0
se.
before you can do anything else. Want to cast magic? Wait for the bar to go down to 0, and then you can cast it.
Like usually those
The
have
visual
like a
presentation
grid
is
system.
still
Some
just
sort.
absolute chef's kiss. I wish we saw more like it. Now, I did play this on a big screen, which probably seems like a weird thing to say considering how many games we play on big screens these days. But from my previous experiences with the series,
FF12
Growlancer
at home.
4 and then 1, I played them on my PlayStation.
Let's not talk about 12. Let's not talk about 12, man. That's such a 12 is such a disappointing game.
Vita. That is a handheld that fits in your pocket. I don't mean a handheld like one of the big chonky boys we have these days. The Vita is tiny compared to the Steam Deck, even compared to the Switch. On a screen that small, games don't need a super high resolution to look sharp. This was my first Growlancer experience on a big screen, and this is a PS2 game from 2001 we're
Just
talking about
emulate and upscale to 4K. It'll look clean enough.
here. I think most of us played the PS2 in 480i or something similarly unimpressive by today's standards. It might have supported 480p, but the pack-in cables couldn't output that. What I'm saying is the resolution was low, and it is extremely obvious when blown up on a big screen. The sharpness I was used to was nowhere to be seen. It's still beautiful, but the technical realities of the time are very apparent. The exploration, if you'll allow me
Wait,
to
was
call
he
it
actually
that,
playing on hardware? Just fucking emulate the game. Emulate it. Run it at 4K. What are we doing?
is where I did a double take. When we got Final Fantasy XIII, one of the most common complaints I heard about the game was that it was a hallway simulator.
You know what? That was the part of the game that was good. Oh, Final Fantasy XIII's, it's so linear. It's a hallway simulator. Yup. That was the best part of it. Upscaling affects 3D models, not 2D textures. That is true, but it will make the pixels sharper. Whilst it won't clean up the textures, it won't look blurry. That's my point. If you run it at a higher internal resolution, it won't look blurry. It'll still be low res, but it'll be sharp low res. And that, for me, that's what I like. I know some people aren't a fan of doing that, but that's my go-to.
It had removed exploration, they said.
Until you get to the open world segment, and then you've just got a big field.
People were very upset. Growlancer 2 apparently looked at the same game design dilemma many years earlier and said, "What if we got rid of the hallways too?"
Okay.
All the exploration happens on a map. And I don't mean some sort of overworld map like everybody loved in games like Lunar. I mean a map on a table kind of map. With location
Okay.
nodes scattered across it. You move your little pointer icon across the map, select where you want to go, and watch your character walk over. You might even get into a random battle on one of the nodes to keep things spicy.
Ooh.
But probably not. Random battles are actually very rare. There's even an equipable item that increases the chances of getting into a random battle. I had it equipped from the moment I first got it, and even with this boost, random battles were shockingly uncommon.
Uh-huh.
What is this? I know there are JRPGs out there that go nuts cranking up the frequency of random battles, but this has got to be the first I've played where they seem to have gone out of their way to prevent them from slowing you down. This does not fit in the world of JRPGs I know. With random battles so rarely tripping me up, I was moving from town to town in record time. And for my efforts making the long journey across a paper map, I was rewarded with this. Where are the shops? Where's the beautiful scenery? Where are the random nooks and crannies to explore?
Screw your nooks and a pox on your crannies. You'll get a menu. You're going to select each option, hear what people have to say, and be on your way. And you'll like it.
No town. The town is a menu of NPCs. This is actually done in the Muso Neptunia games. I wouldn't expect it in a JRPG like this though.
A menu. It is
Everything in this
seriously
game is a menu.
just a menu. Do you get it now? If we were just having a normal old conversation, not looking at a game or anything, and I said that all of this happens in a basic menu, you'd think I have the worst taste in games ever. But it works. I don't know how they managed to pull this off, but I still liked it. Instead of wandering around a town smashing the X button on everything that looks even slightly suspicious to see if there are hidden goodies, you're rewarded for interacting with the world through the menu options, and especially for remembering what people tell you. There are optional side quests that you'll only pick up on if you connect the dots. And because there's no log or guide markers or anything like that, it actually feels like an accomplishment when you see one through to the end. I never felt like I was wandering aimlessly, but it didn't hold my hand. Sure, I was uncertain about where I should go from time to time, but it was never for too long. My successes felt like the result of my own work, and that is something I will always...
I know some people are a fan of having no quest log whatsoever. I get not having quest markers, totally understandable. I'm not a fan of not having a quest log. Because, you know, imagine you're an adventurer, right? You would write shit down that's important. Like, do people in this world not have paper? Like, every game that just doesn't have a quest log, I'm like, why do you not have anything to write on? Because, like, usually you're not playing someone who's illiterate.
always praise. Somehow, I fell in love with a menu system. This is a perfect example of how Growlancer 2 cuts straight to the good stuff. The game can't even be bothered with the usual equipment options. You get
but you do have stats. That's something.
body armor and 1 ring. No weapons.
Wait, so what?
Cuts straight to the good stuff. The game can't even be bothered with the usual equipment options. You get body armor and 1 ring. No weapons, no boots, no gloves, no pants. Think of the children. The rings at least come with slots, and this is actually what gives Growlancer 2's combat much of its depth.
Okay.
You get these little stones that you can equip in the ring slots, provided that the stone's level isn't higher than the slot's level.
Right.
Each stone offers some sort of effect, like
Oh, it's materia.
extending attack range, adding additional attacks.
It's materia. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is... Right, it's just materia from FF7. Okay, fair enough.
Healing on hit. Changing up these stones can take a character from good to amazing in an instant. If you have a ring with a bunch of high-level slots, that is. What skills characters learn is largely up to you, so you have a lot of control over how your party functions as a whole. Like magic? Learn a bunch of spells. Prefer to bonk your enemies to death? Learn a bunch of physical skills. Creating a balance you like is part of the fun, and you'll need it. This game can be a little brutal. I'm glad to see that hasn't changed. It wouldn't be Growlancer otherwise, would it? I had plenty of nail-biting moments where I just
That is something I do appreciate about older games. A lot of new games are made to be as playable by as many people as possible. It is nice to have a game where it's like, you actually need to learn the systems. You know, this is a problem that people have with like Kingdom Hearts 3, right? unless you're playing on critical, and critical becomes fucking a nightmare because there's so many enemies, the main story is very easy. You will never die. You just spam thunder and win. That's not really a thing with Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2. And it is something I miss from, especially like that PS2 and earlier era.
We pulled through at the last second. Let's not talk about how many times I got a game over. Look, how was I supposed to know more enemies were gonna appear mid-fight? So yeah, trial and error was a common part of my master plan.
The only problem I do have with older games with the way that they handle hard combat is a lot of them are really bad at saving. It's one thing to have a really hard encounter. It's another thing to have a hard encounter and then it's to send you back to your save point from 30 minutes ago. The reason why games used to be like that is because they were doing systems that made sense for an arcade. We weren't in an arcade by the PS2. There was no reason to not have a good save system.
Can we take a moment here to appreciate how ahead of its time this game was? Not only did it innovate with a unique approach to exploration and equipment, it autosaves.
Exactly what I'm talking about. Actually, exactly what I'm talking about.
Autosaves whenever it switches to the map screen. Even more incredible, it lets you turn it off if, for some reason, you hate amazing features. This is such a welcome quality of life feature that I do not expect to see in JRPGs from this era. Or any era, for that matter. There's one particular thing it does that really hit home for me. And that's the way they tie in the events and characters of the first game. I loved the original cast of characters, and having to say goodbye after just one game was bittersweet. Brolancer 2 follows the events of the original in such a way that you get plenty of new characters to drive this story forward, but without just dumping the original cast and leaving them to rot in the history books. Some of the original cast shows up in the form of pages you find scattered about the world, with each telling a story about one of those characters. Some of them will show up in brief story scenes. Others yet will even offer their support.
That's cool.
Reconnecting with every single one was like a warm blanket on a cold winter day. Even with all the fighting going on in this world, seeing their faces and reading about them was a comfort I did not expect. And I don't think I've had such a powerful reaction all that often in games. I really liked the first game. Sorry for spoiling my video on it, but I did. The story this time around is maybe a little bit more predictable here and there, but I was usually so engrossed in the story that I wasn't trying to guess where things were going. I was in it. I have seen very few JRPGs that do this, but Brolancer 2 not only gives you a party of 8 characters, they all participate in fights at the same time. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a Ren, you know, you've gotten to experience a large cast of characters. I haven't done Reverie yet, but you know, Sky Third was already enough with 16 characters, I think it was. Maybe more. Then whatever fucking Reverie has when you get to that. 40-something characters.
Thank you. Most JRPGs
and most of them do nothing.
More party members that can actually participate in fights at any given time, and include a system for switching them out. This system too got launched into the sun. Bye-bye. Why bother switching them out?
Sure.
They're all there.
Yeah.
They might as well contribute. Since the battle system is real-time with pause or whatever nonsense I called it, and since maps often have well over 10 enemies, with your own party members included, you can easily...
Let me just double check. Let me just find the number. How many playable characters are in Trails into Reverie? Ah, you're almost there. You are almost there. I'm not going to spoil the number, but you're close.
Easily end up with 20 units in a battle, each with their own actions that take place one at a time. Unlike in a regular RTS, units don't take action on screen simultaneously. You have to wait and watch each one play out. And this is why it's probably a good thing that random battles are so infrequent.
I'm not going to get all of them. How many are there? 51. There's 51 of them.
The battles are on the longer side, and they only get longer the further you get. As you've probably noticed with your astute observation abilities, I played the Japanese version of Growlancer 2. When it finally released in North America in late 2004, nearly 3.5 years after the Japanese release...
I was going to say, is there a reason why? Is it one of these games like, is it, I think it's TXR, no, is it TXR 0? No, I don't think it's 0. One of the TXR games on PS2 is literally impossible to 100% because the localization introduced a bug. The localization changed some random fucking requirement to do one of the races, and it is literally impossible to do.
It took that long? It was sold as a bundle with the third game, The Dual Darkness, in a package called Growlancer Generations. A naming choice that would not make anyone's life easier when the fifth game came out in Japan with the title Growlancer 5 Generations. If only they could have looked
Wait,
into the
how
future
long is
before-
this series? I've never heard of Growlancer. There are 6 games and then a remake on the PSP. Okay, which games had English releases? Okay, technically that... What is Heritage War? So it seems like after they did the collection, then they started releasing them all in English, I think. I think is how that worked. Could be wrong. Growlancer 6 doesn't have a fucking Wikipedia page. Okay, Growlancer Wiki. Yeah, here we go. Wait, it's an Atlas game? Okay, Growlancer 6 never had an English release, by the looks of it.
Or naming that bundle. Oh well, these things happen, apparently. Growlancer 5 in English had to take a new subtitle in the end, Heritage of War.
Right.
I just wanted to share this because it makes me laugh. That must have been so frustrating. I have to say this. When I started Growlancer 2 and it finally sunk in that there would be no towns, no areas to explore, barely any equipment to customize your characters with, I was... yeah,
suspicious?
I'll just say it. I was worried I was going to hate it. I don't know the story behind all these changes because the original Growlancer had it all, but man, they nailed it. Again. My best guess is that they went all out with the original Growlancer. The game was massive.
It was made by Careersoft, published by Atlas, originally released in 99. Oh my god. What has Careersoft done? Lungudisa, Growlancer. Yeah, I think they shut down after Growlancer, or maybe they got purchased by someone? So they went from Atlas over to Index Corporation, and then Index was bought by Sega, and they got shut down. Wait, what? I'm so confused. Oh, wait, no, Index is... Wait, what? Hold up. Atlas's history is fucking weird. So Atlas was called Atlas from 2001 to 2010. Then they changed the name to Index Corporation. Then they got purchased, I think, and then became Atlas again. Okay,
And they
right.
wanted to play
You know
it
what? We're
a
not going to
little
think about
safer
that.
the second time around with a shorter runtime, but without forfeiting the core elements, the story, the world, the combat, the drama. And when I say shorter runtime, I mean it. My playthrough for Growlancer 2 was around 30 hours, less than half of what I spent on the original Growlancer. This is a kind of experimentation I can get behind.
I am 50 now.
I'm 3 games deep into the series now, with 3, 5, and 6 left to play, and I'm as excited as ever to keep going. I've actually watched a playthrough of 5, but I barely remember any of it, and I feel like there's so much to get from actually playing these games yourself. It might take some time, but rest assured, I intend to continue with Growlancer. I actually already bought a copy of 3. I got lucky and found it for half of what it usually goes for.
Okay, nice.
That was a great day. If you're interested in more Growlancer talk, I have a whole video about the first entry in the series, one of 2 Growlancer games that never got an official English release. Are you more interested in Growlancer now after listening to me go on and on about Growlancer 2? If you've already played it, I'd love to hear what your experience was like. Let's chat in the comments. I hate to say it, but I couldn't quite beat the final battle. I'd got myself into something of an unwinnable situation, and there was no getting out of it easily.
Jesus,
I tried to
is
push
not
through,
50 now.
but despite
Yeah,
getting close to beating the
definitely
final
older than
battle a
50.
couple of times, after a healthy number of
Just a little bit.
failures, I decided to call it and watch the ending on YouTube. And that's when I learned just how close I was. I was right there. But hey, it was a good ending, and I only missed out on maybe 2 minutes in my own playthrough. Good enough for me. Remember to subscribe for more, and to give the video a like to tell the world to pay attention to Growlancer finally. Now go find some fun. Peace.
This sounds like a cool game. Do I need another JRPG series to play? No. No, definitely not. But I guess if I ever feel like getting around to it, maybe I'll get to it at some point. Maybe. Granted, the 6th game is only in Japanese, and I definitely do not have the Japanese knowledge to play a JRPG. That's for goddamn sure. Anyway.